Randy.
Hey,
Glad
Melody.
to have you today in our little map chat. We're going to be profiling you as one of our awesome marketing accountability partners, Mastermind Group members. And I am one of my favorite and one of our token males, but I'm so glad to have you. And so I wanted to just talk a little bit about your business, which is fascinating. And tell everybody about what's the name of your business and what type of business is it?
Oh, hey, thanks for asking me, Melody. I appreciate it, and I'm honored to be a part of your group, to be the token man. I run a company called Middleman Enterprises, and we've been in business under that name since I think 1999. And naturally, because the world has evolved, we've evolved a lot too. And I think what you and I have worked on the most is our new podcast, which is called Flipping Genius, and it's exciting. I'm in the car business. Middleman Cars is one of our divisions, and it's a used car business. And over the last 13 years, I've learned how to do the car business from scratch on my own. I've never worked for anybody else, so I do it kind of a unique way, and that led me to think, hey, maybe I can help other people do it too. And that's when we kicked off the Flipping Genius podcast, which is about car flipping, buying and selling cars for a profit.
That is so amazing. And the fact that you started a podcast this time a year ago, a little over a year ago, and had never done anything like that, just listened to a lot of podcasts, but just your journey, watching your journey grow as a podcast host and learning how to reach out to new listeners and market your podcast and look at affiliate partnerships. It's just been fascinating. So I'm really appreciate you letting me kind of be on this journey with you. So what would you say about this, especially this side of your business? What would you say makes what I call your secret sauce, makes this unique compared to other podcasts like yours or just businesses like this in general?
Well, yeah, I think one thing is I'm old. So I think the secret sauce that comes to mind, two things. One is I keep learning. I have to admit, I'm a little proud of myself. I turned 60 years old last year, and I keep learning new stuff all the time. And I think that's the key to, staying on the right side of the ground. And the other thing that I guess I didn't recognize myself was something that one of my hero podcasters, Jeremy Fisher, actually, who's been on my show now and is actually allowing us to sell his product as part of our program. I was talking to Jeremy this past week, and he said, Randy, the one thing that you do that the other guys in this space aren't doing is you're talking about reality. The fact that you're saying it's work, but it will pay off, but you got to do the work. And I thought, man, that is right on the button, because that's how I feel. And when I talk to young guys that are trying to reach out to me and saying, how do I get started? That's what I tell them, put in the time, learn what you're doing, and do it right and build a reputation. And that's what we've done for 13 years at Middleman Cars. And that's what we're trying to teach now at Flipping Genius.
Well, and also you have these, because that is true. You are who you say you are. Your character backs up everything you say and do. But you've started these Facebook groups. You started one locally, and it's huge for car selling. And then you started them all over the country. Like, where are some of these Facebook groups, and what do you do in these Facebook groups that's helped kind of build your credibility as well as show your business solution that you offer?
Well, I guess it was 7 years ago, I think we started our first Facebook group in Huntsville, and it was to sell cars for $5,000 or less, which is primarily what I do. And then another one for cars that were $5,000 to $10,000, because every now and then I get a better car. And my goal was to make a tool that I could help myself sell cars in, just frankly. And my goal was to get to 500 members. That happened so quickly because I was kind of pushing it along by marketing inside and making sure that the groups were very, very pure, so there weren't people trying to spam anybody. So consequently, that first group has grown to almost 27,000 members. Wow. And I was telling you earlier that we have blocked almost that number of people because there's so much spam trying to get in, but we block them all the time. So we keep it a very pure selling group. So you buy and sell cars. That's the only thing you do there. Not tires, not dining room tables, and you don't show me videos about how to put makeup on. You've got to come and sell the vehicle. So that group is our biggest group, and then we have another group here. The 5 to 10,000 is close to 5,000 members.
Wow.
And that was the model that we wanted to take other places. And so now we have Flipping Genius used car groups in places like Atlanta, Georgia, Tampa, Orlando,
Phoenix.
pardon me? Yeah,
Is it
Phoenix,
Phoenix? Yep.
Phoenix, Arizona, Detroit, Michigan, Omaha, Nebraska.
Wow.
We've got 18 of them all together. I just got a request for one yesterday in northern Georgia, because that's what we ask our listeners. Tell us where you want to open one, and then the goal is to get one of those listeners to partner with us to help them sell their own cars by doing what I did way back when, and then gradually building it and building it the right way with that focus, because these guys are in the business just like I was back then. And this is the tool to help them build reputation. And the beautiful thing about Facebook there is when you're buying something, if you go to my Facebook page,
Profile.
you'll know exactly who I am. You'll know
Right.
that I love the Wisconsin Badgers. You know, I love my wife, and that I'm
Right.
pretty silly. And you'll see everything I do. It's right there. And you'll know when you show up who you're buying from. And I know who you are too, which I really, really like that a lot.
Oh yeah, I think
I know
that's
whether-
changed Craigslist. Took them out of the game.
Exactly. You know whether to show up armed or not. Just kidding about that.
So who would you say is your target client in your marketing now? Because obviously you're trying to get listeners, you're trying to get Facebook group people, and then you have something else too that once you become a listener or you really want to learn more, who is it you're trying to reach and what are you offering them?
Well, we have a new membership called our Flipping Team Members, and it's to try to drive some revenue into this stream, because spend a lot of time on it. And when they do join, the cool thing is they give me $10. They join, and we give them $250 worth of cool stuff right away to try to accelerate their career. And who that listener is, who that target is I call him Bobby, and I want to give our friend Rachel Eubanks a shout out there, because Rachel's got a wonderful course that she's designed, and a video course that helps you identify who that person is. So I took 2 hours and went through Rachel's online course, and now I know who Bobby is. And Bobby is probably about a 37-year-old married guy who's got a full-time job that's trying to build something on the side. Or maybe he's got a small car dealership and he's trying to build that too. And he probably doesn't have any more than 5 or 10 vehicles on his lot. But that's the guy I'm talking to. I'm not that I am not overjoyed to talk to you if you've got a multi-billion-dollar car lot or something. But typically that's who I'm speaking to is the small businessman who's just trying to get this thing rolling, or businesswoman. 8% of our listeners are women, and they are all beautiful women.
Well, that's amazing, because I do think, and Rachel is one of our M.A.P Mastermind members as well, and she has Inspired to Engage as her website, inspiredtoengage.com, and she does an amazing entrepreneur focused podcast as well. So yeah, her course is trying to, finding your target customer in any industry is tough. But I would imagine in the podcast world, it's even tougher because there's so many podcasts. So I just, admire that you've really kept your niche focus, because that way the people you're reaching really want to hear what you have to say and are perfect targets for your group. So let's say this last year, you've obviously learned a lot. We've all learned a lot, but you really have learned a lot because of just taking this podcast journey. But what's one new thing that you've learned about marketing your business? I know you've learned so many because you've shared them, and I'm so thankful you've shared them. But what's one of the best things you feel like you've learned about marketing your business this year?
Well, one thing I first thing that comes to mind is that old hat that I wear. I mean, I am an old cat, and I have done everything from wearing out my shoes, going door to door. I started right out of college. I was in the life insurance business. I always thought if you could sell life insurance, you can sell anything. And I sold the hell out of life insurance. I sold a lot of advertising. I've done face-to-face calls. I've done Zoom calls. I've done any kind of selling you can think of, but I haven't done what's happening right now. I'm just learning this. So what I've learned is I've got to build a team around me that knows stuff like yourself and like Rachel, who's I feel like part of my team, even though she's just a M.A.P group member. My sales coach Sarah is awesome, and Sarah May Dickinson. I almost didn't remember her name because it's been a couple. She's got a new baby, and
Got a
I
new
haven't
baby.
been able to
That's
talk
right.
to me. But Sarah, I kind of chuckled when I heard her on Rachel's podcast talking about sales, and I kind of chuckled because I thought I've been on 5 times more sales calls than this girl, but I knew I could learn from her because she knows about the kind of selling you need to do in 2021. And so that's what I've learned, is that you've got to not let your pride get in the way, then learn new things. And that stuff that you learned in the background in the past, it will help you. And
Yes.
that's been really cool, because I know that wasn't wasted time. That was all things that are benefiting me now too.
Well, I love that because I feel the same way. I've been in marketing since before the internet, but this last year, my mind gets blown just thinking about how much I've tried to learn and hopefully have learned. So,
Mhm.
so you did this time last year, or actually it was a little before this time last year, but you joined the M.A.P group, our Marketing Accountabilities Partner Mastermind Group, which now does meet on Zoom. And the good thing about it is because we have a member who's not even in our area. We started in just the Madison Huntsville area, but why did you decide to join the M.A.P group when you joined originally?
Well, I think that the fact that I was recognizing that I had to get somebody outside of maybe outside of my 4 walls was when that would see things from a different perspective. And I've been self-employed most of my life, and accountability is something that I thought I would find valuable, and I certainly have. That's one of my most favorite things about our group. And I jokingly call it the ladies group, but because it's just me and the ladies. But we uplift each other whenever we get together. Everybody has ideas that benefit each other, and that's what I was hoping it would do, and it's done exactly that. And I give them a lot of credit, but Melody, a lot of it comes from you. It's been, I didn't know what you would bring to the table, honestly. I didn't know that every single time we'll have a conversation, you can see things that I don't see, and it's fascinating, because I don't know if all guys are this way, but I always think I know the answer to everything. And so I'm always surprised when you have an answer that's better than mine, or another answer that I haven't thought of. And that happens all the time when we do our one-on-one meetings, and it also happens when I interact with the folks in the M.A.P mastermind meetings.
Well, thank you. Well, we feel the same way about you, and we love other men in our group, but you have really shared and encouraged us and cheerleaded us, as well as given some valuable resources that you've come across. And that's the great thing I do love about the M.A.P. So if we were going to add to our members in this group, or even if we need to have a second group because of just time, because we meet at a certain time and a certain day of the week, and that may not be convenient for everybody, but what type of business do you feel like would be a best fit for our group going forward? What types of businesses and industries do you think would have the best results here?
Well, I guess I don't think there's really any limitation. I've owned well over a dozen businesses in my lifetime, and they've been product based, they've been service based, and I think any one of them would have benefited from this kind of meeting if I could find the time, because what I find, just like in Rachel's podcast that I mentioned, Rachel is a copywriter. She may interview a person that does baby pictures, and by the time I'm done listening to that podcast, I've learned something that will help me in my business, which is flipping cars. How that's relative, I wouldn't think it would be, but it is every single time. So I don't really see any limitations on what kind of business would benefit from it. So I would encourage anybody who's a small business owner to definitely consider it, because the fact is, it's going to make you money. I think that small investment that you put into it is just it's a great investment, and that's the right word. It's a investment in your future and in your business.
Well, thank you. Well, I hope so. My goal was always to get like-minded, overwhelmed but driven business owners who just want to grow in a room, because they always have great ideas, but we all live in a vacuum when we own our own businesses. And so I do like the fact that people are gaining from it in different ways. And I feel the same way. I don't feel like there's any type of small businesses, even people in our world who target the government, they still have to run a business and they still have to target people and sell. We all have to sell. We all have to market. So, do you have any current things you want to promote? Like, what's your current hot promotion right now that you're wanting to share with anybody listening?
Well, I said I'm learning, and at the same time, I think I'm kind of a slow learner, but I guess that's the fact. As you get older, you learn slower. So the latest thing I've learned, and I don't know how it's taken me a year to recognize this, is that people love YouTube and they want to see me work on vehicles, flip vehicles, and so we've just started to take our podcast and put it on our YouTube channel. Flipping Genius is called the YouTube channel too. And along with that, we're starting to do videos of shorter videos of the flips. Our podcast is typically about 30 to 50 minutes long, and everybody doesn't want to sit still, even though I got a beautiful face, so you can listen to me talk. I think a lot of folks are going to enjoy seeing me talk about actual vehicle flips and actual techniques that we use to attract vehicles that we can fix and flip. So yeah, YouTube is our latest thing, and I think everybody knows about it already, but it's new for us.
Well, but it's, and I think people are discovering, new people on YouTube, because that's the beauty of it. It's so accessible. So, so how can people connect with you? What's your website again? Where are you on social media? How can we connect with you?
Well, I always say, spend all of your spare time, listen to the Flipping Genius podcast. I say that a lot to people. If you just search Flipping Genius wherever you listen to podcasts, you'll find us. We just did our 61st episode last week, and we'll have a 62nd episode coming out this Wednesday. My guest this week is going to be Rachel Eubanks, which is coincidentally awesome. We also have a website. It's www.flippingenius.com. That's one G in the middle. Couldn't afford both G's, so it's really Flippin' Genius. And when you get there, you can listen to all of our podcasts. You can click on the links to our Flipping Genius YouTube channel. You can go to our resources page and save money. I just saved like almost $200 on tires, buying tires through our resources page this morning for my wife's car. Last week I saved $100 from our resources page on a alternator for a truck that we were selling. So the bigger our audience gets, the better deals we can negotiate with the suppliers. We've got about 50 suppliers on there and modes of information. And of course we're on Facebook. We're on other places too, but I think the website's the best place to start. And once you're there, if you're interested in doing car flipping at all, I invite you to join our car flipping forum. It's a group of flippers all around the world. I've got folks in South America and England now members, and one guy down in Texas who has flipped over 30,000 vehicles, and a lot of guys who have never ever even raised their hand at an auction. They're all there and they're sharing ideas. Now we're just getting that rolling, but as that rolls, we'll have a place for us all to join, and it's free, and you'll be able to come in and share your ideas and learn from other people.
Excellent. Oh, Flipping Genius. I just love the title, first of all. And aren't you have some cool hats now, some trucker hats or something?
Yeah, I happen to have
you get them in? Oh, you got them in? Oh, that looks great. Yay.
They come in white or black, and if you become a flipping team member, you actually get a free hat along with that package of supplies that we give you to get you off the ground as a car flipper. Or if you're already experienced car flipper, we'll help you do it better. But
I love it.
Thank you.
I love that hat. It looks good on you with your blue. Well, thank you, Randy. I've loved having you, and we've loved having you as a M.A.P member in our program this year. And I encourage everybody who, even if you don't want to flip a car, but you want to learn from somebody really smart and cool who's done a lot of interesting things, check out the podcast, check out his website, flippinggenius.com. Connect with him on social media. He's a smart man. He's a good man. He's a good husband. I know that. And we just love having you. So thank you for talking with me today.
Thanks, Melody. It was a lot of fun.